Hello everyone, in this video I have brought to you another very interesting case study of a company which is a market leader in auto component sector, Minda Industries Limited. Their brand name is Uno Minda. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon, and I request you to watch the video till the end because I am trying to bring you in concise form of about 15 to 20 minutes a research of about 2 to 3 days, and if you watch this video till the end I am sure you will be able to take a decision whether or not to invest in this company. I am Varun Agarwal and let's get started. So Minda Industries started as a small workshop in Delhi and now it has 62 plants globally. So this is the journey of Minda Industries from a small shop to a multinational company. Let us discuss the introduction of Minda Industries. Minda Industries is a part of Uno Minda Group, which has a turnover of about 8,000 crores. This company manufactures auto components like lights, alloy wheels, switches, and various other parts. This is one of the biggest companies in India in its sector, and it is the largest manufacturer of switches and horns. It has largest installed capacity of alloy wheels in the country, and its intellectual capital is about 123 crores, which is invested in R&D, and it has about 215 patents and 230 plus designs are registered by this company. So this shows that this company is investing a lot in research and development, and it's giving a lot of importance to making and inventing new products for this industry. The chairman and managing director of this company is Mr. Nirmal K. Minda, and this company has about 21,000 employees. This company has its headquarters in Haryana, India, and this company has won several awards, few of which are that this is the most promising company of the year awarded by CNBC TV 18 in financial year 2019, and Mr. Nirmal K. Minda has won Entrepreneur of this Year award in the manufacturing category. Let us discuss the history of this company. This company's business was originally started by Mr. Nirmal Minda's father in 1958 as a small manufacturer of electrical parts of motorcycles. Then Mr. Nirmal K. Minda joined this business in 1977 in the marketing division. Later in 1996 he separated from his brother and started growing this business on his own. And from one workshop this business has grown to 62 plants on a global basis, and it has a presence in 7 countries as of today. Let us discuss the business model of this company. Minda Industries is the leading company in the Uno Minda Group. This Uno Minda Group has several companies. One of the leading companies in that is Minda Industries. And Minda Industries has several subsidiaries, several associate companies and joint ventures. So there are many subsidiaries, joint ventures and associate companies across the world. R&D to manufacture of auto components and supply to all major brands. So this company does right from research and development to manufacture of auto components, and this supplies to all the major global brands which we will discuss in the coming slides. So presently it has globally 62 plants with 15 joint ventures and 8 research and development centers across the globe. The customers of this company are original equipment manufacturers. These are the original equipment manufacturers are the companies which gets its spare parts and products manufactured by some other company and then sells it under its own brand name. So there are several companies like Maruti and other two-wheeler companies. They get their components, auto components manufactured by Minda Industries, and they assemble it and sell it as the automobile vehicles. And this company is also into exports. Quite reasonable amount of revenue comes from exports also. Now let us discuss the business segments of this company. From which segment how much is the portion of revenue coming from. So in the switching systems which are related to the switches which are used in the automobiles, 37.8% revenue share is coming from this segment, and in this segment this company is India's largest with 55% of the market share. In the lighting segment, which are related to the headlights and other light parts, 21.9% of the revenue comes from the light segment, and this is India's third largest company in the lighting segment. Acoustic systems, which is related to the horns and the other audio related products, 12.1% of the revenue comes from that segment, and this company is India's number one in this segment, and globally this company is number two in the acoustic segment, and this company has 50% market share in the acoustic systems segment. The fourth segment is the light metal technology, which is related to alloy wheels and other products of metal. This company derives 15.4% revenue from that segment, and it captures 45% of the market share in India in the light metal technology segment, and the other segments account for about 12.8% of the revenue. So you see that this company has a very strong position in the market. Now, if we see the geography wise revenue distribution, domestic revenue is coming about 84% of revenue is coming from the domestic market, and 16% revenue is coming from the exports. And segment wise, if we see from the four-wheeler segment, about 49% of the revenue is coming, and the auto components related to the two-wheelers, 51% of the revenue is coming. So if you see the segment related to four-wheeler is growing year by year. If we see the product wise segment revenue, if we see switches accounts for about 38%, lighting for 22%, acoustic 12%, light metal products about 15%, and others about 13%. If you see the customers of this company, there are all popular big brands under this customer segment. If you see, these are the domestic customers of this company, and in two-wheelers you can see Bajaj, TVS, Honda, Hero, Yamaha, Maruti Suzuki, Mahindra, BMW. All the big names are there in the two-wheeler. And four-wheeler, if you see Toyota, Honda, Mahindra, Volkswagen, Ford, all the names are there in the domestic segment. This company also supplies to the off-road industries like Escorts and JCB. Internationally, you can see all the big brands here like Kawasaki, Yamaha, BMW, and four-wheeler you can see Volkswagen, Toyota. So these are all the customers of this company. If you see the company structure, this company has several subsidiary companies in India, the list of which is there on your screen. I won't be reading out each and every name because this company has several subsidiaries and joint ventures. Overseas subsidiaries, there is a huge list of overseas subsidiaries. A lot of them are wholly owned subsidiaries of this company, and this company is also into joint ventures and associates. Now let us understand the market in which this company operates and the industry. So the Indian automobile industry experiencing a consolidation these days, because in the last few years the automobiles industry is under the slowdown. But growth in terms of production of vehicles has increased. In terms of revenue and all, it's a kind of a slowdown, but in number of vehicles production has increased. And recently the government has come up with BS6 norms. So these are different norms which government implements from time to time, so that the engines which the automobile cars and bikes are used, those engines are pollution free. So these new norms keep coming, and the car manufacturers keep improving the quality of their engines to reduce the pollution and increase the efficiency. Due to higher interest rates, increase in insurance premiums, oil prices, and exchange rate fluctuations, the auto industry is in a consolidation or a slowdown. And this sector may remain in a consolidation phase for a little more period, and especially with the COVID coming in, the lockdown situation, it may take much more time for it to recover. India has become the fourth largest car market in the world, and it is expected to become the third largest by 2021. The domestic automobile sales have increased at a CAGR at an average rate of 9.2% from financial year 14 to 19, and the domestic two-wheeler industry is expected to grow at 6 to 8% in financial year 20. All these estimates might change due to the recent lockdown developments, but these are the overall estimates which were done earlier. The government aims to make India emerge as a global manufacturing hub and the overall production of auto components industry. So now till now we have discussed the automobile industry, which these companies closely related to, and now we are discussing the auto components industry, which this company is exactly into, and this is expected to grow by 5 to 6% in financial year 2020, and the exports are expected to grow at about 23%. India's auto components industry is expected to become world's third largest by 2025, and due to the increase in disposable incomes of people, the automobile industry is bound to grow because more and more people will be traveling by their own vehicles, two wheelers and four wheelers, and the public transportation will be reduced because the people have more incomes going further. So the market and industry is bound to grow in future, but it may take a little more time to revive, but it is definitely going to grow. If we see the car penetration per 1,000 people living in any country, New Zealand has about 860 cars, Australia about 730, Canada 650, and coming to India it's only 22. So the market is still very less penetrated, and a lot more people are expected to buy their own vehicles going further. If we see the percentage share of each segment in the total production volume for 2018-19, the two-wheeler segment is about 79%. So the major products are going of this company to the two-wheeler segment, and for the passenger vehicles about 13%, commercial vehicles and three-wheelers about 4% each. The competitors of this company are Lumax Industries, FIEM Industries, Autolite India, and Jagan Litech. Now, what is the competitive advantage does this company have when it competes with its other companies, which we have discussed earlier? This is a very technology driven company. They invest a lot of research and development, and they keep on making new products and improve existing products and technologies. This is a market leader in lot of segments, as we have discussed earlier, so it gives it a lot of advantage when compared to the other companies. This company has a global presence. It has subsidiaries, associates and joint ventures globally in different countries, and it is already manufacturing BS6 compliant products beforehand, and it is ready to go for that change. It has long-term relationships with its customers, so even if they charge a little premium also, the customers are quite satisfied with their products and service, and they expect them to be supplying to them in future also. They always maintain consistent quality in all the products which they manufacture, and they keep on developing new products as per the technology and as per the regulations of the government which keep coming. Now, what are the growth prospects of this company in the near future? This company has increased focus on expenditure and focus on research and development. So this company is going to manufacture a lot of new products in the near future, and this company is entering into a lot of new product categories also. It has recently acquired another company called KPIT Engineering Limited. This company is into technology which is related to automobiles. So this will also give its advantage to manufacture new technology products. It has also acquired and merged another company called Harita Seating Systems Limited. This company manufactures the seats which are fixed for sitting in different automobiles and cars. So by this acquisition, this company will have a very big advantage in manufacturing of car seats and automobile seats. This company has developed a new research and development center of more than 150 engineers recently. So you can see that this company is focusing a lot on technology. A new production facility of alloy wheels, controllers and sensors is expected to start production in 2020. High temperature sensor line, which is again established in 2020. This will produce BS6 compliant sensors. There is a new acquisition called ISIS, which is a German company. This acquired company serves controllers to big brands like BMW, and that company is also now under this group. And Minda Industry is geared up for the new electric vehicles, which are going to be the future of the automobile industry. Now let us discuss what are the risks which this company may face now or in the near future. This company's products are dependent on the auto industry, that is the two-wheeler and four-wheeler industry, and the way the auto industry performs, that will have a direct impact on the revenue of this company. There are a lot of government regulations on the auto components and the auto industry which will impact this company's future. This company has a high competition risk from new companies which are international multinational companies which are coming to India and establishing the production facilities in India, and it also has a competition risk from the components which are being imported from other countries like China. So because of the imported cheaper items, this company is facing or may face more competition risk. And there is a quality risk also. It has to maintain the same quality as per the specifications of its customers. If there is a variation in the quality, then the customers are expected to reject the entire products. Now, after discussing the entire history, business model and everything about the company, let's discuss the numbers. Coming to the December quarter, December 2019, this company had a revenue of 1327 crores compared to the earlier December quarter of 1470 crores, and compared to the early before quarter of September 2019, it was 1360 crores. So in the recent quarter, you can see a little slowdown in the revenue. Now coming to the profits, the profit for this December quarter are 53.5 crores compared to earlier December quarter of 79 crores and September quarter of 52 crores. So profit are also reducing when compared to the earlier performances. Recent financial year 2019, there were 4 subsidiaries which were merged into this company to make a easy and more simplified company structure. The names of the subsidiaries are on your screen. Now let us discuss the year-on-year trends of the financial figures. The revenues of this company are continuously growing in the last few years, and it is up 32% when compared to the last year. And the EBITDA margins, the EBITDA is also growing when compared to the earlier years. We'll ignore the profit figure here because there is some error in this, and I'll discuss in the next slide. The return on capital is consistently maintained and it is around 18.65%. So coming to the revenue now, it is 32% up when compared to the earlier year. Net profit is 286%, which is down by 8% when compared to the earlier year. There is an increase in standalone basis in the net profit, but on consolidation basis, it is down by 8%. The company has declared an interim dividend of around 0.45 rupees and a final dividend of about 0.65 rupees. So this is a dividend paying company, and this company has issued a bonus of 2:1 in financial year 2019, and it has also issued ESOPs to the employees and the higher level key managerial personnel. So this is the reason why you can see a change in the equity capital of this company. The reserves of this company are growing over a period of several years, but this company has a debt of about 955 crores, which is increasing when compared to the earlier years. The operating cash flows of this company, the cash flow from operating activities is 414 crores, but this company has invested a lot of cash in the fixed assets and other manufacturing facilities, which amounts to about 825 crores. So the free cash flows become negative, which means that this company has invested a lot in the capital structures and the other manufacturing facilities. So if the performance is maintained and the production facilities show a very good result in the future, then even if the cash flows are negative, it can be ignored for the time being, as it is for the benefit of the company and its growth. The director's remuneration is about 8.5 crores and the promoters holding this company is about 71%, which is a very good number. The net profit margin on a consolidated basis is 5.42, which is slightly less. The return on equity and return on capital employed is 16.76% and 18.80%, which are not very great numbers. These are slightly low when compared to the earlier years because in this year the profit figures have taken a dip. The debt equity ratio is 0.56 and the inventory turnover ratio is 10.5. So inventory turnover ratio is good, but this company has debt which is slightly increasing from the earlier years. Now let us discuss the valuations and the fundamental analysis of this company. The last trading price of this company's share is about 265 rupees and the 52-week high and low is 206 and 425. If you ignore the fall in the lockdown, on a 1 year basis, this company's share has given 11% return, and you will be amazed to know that in 5 years it has given about 1000% returns. That means if you had invested in this company 5 years before, your investment must have been increased by 10 times until now. The market cap of this company is 7,000 crores, which shows that this is a mid-cap company. PE ratio is 59, which is slightly high. Industry PE is 32. The earning per share is rupees 4.5. The price book ratio is 6.32, which is again slightly high. And the intrinsic value, which I have calculated on an approximate basis as per the Benjamin Graham's formula, is coming to around 200 rupees for me. So if you see, compared to the intrinsic value, it is trading at a slightly higher price, but still if this company maintains the pace of growth at which it is growing, then it can still be considered at the present price. If we see the price chart, you will see a great increasing trend in the last 5 years, and it has given great returns. If you see, in 2015 it was around 33 rupees and it has crossed more than 300 rupees in the recent past. So the recent developments in this company are, as I said, the profits are going down in the recent times, which is being suffered by the entire sector actually, not just by this company. And COVID-19 lockdowns may have a huge impact on this company, as the automobile sectors are unable to sell the vehicles. They would not need much spare parts and the auto components, so the revenues of this company will also be drastically affected. So I have given you all the indicators which will help you decide whether to invest in this company or not. To summarize, this company, the automobile industry is in a slowdown in the recent phase, and there may be a time lag in the recovery because of the COVID-19 situation. But this company has shown consistent performance over the several years. As you know, that the journey started from a small warehouse or a small workshop till the 62 plants across the globe. The company has a market leadership in the components which it manufactures. It has global presence, but there are debts in this company and the margins are slightly less. But the stock has given multi-bagger returns in the last 5 years. The valuations are slightly high, but if this company maintains the pace of growth, the speed of growth at which it is growing right now, it can give you a good return in the future. So I hope you like this analysis, and if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Do share your doubts in the comments below. I will definitely reply to all the comments, and mention the names of the companies which you want me to analyze for you, and I will be happy to do that. Thanks for watching this video and have a great day.